Hi everyone, welcome back to the intermediate series of Programmatic. We are discussing intermediate optimization methods and how things work in DV360 in programmatic advertising. We have already discussed the basics in the basic series. This is video 2 of intermediate. So today we would be discussing audience strategy and data in DV360. We have talked about this in the basic series as well, but today we'll talk about a bit more detailed analysis of audience strategy and how data works in DV360. So this video will cover how to reach the right people at the right time using data. Okay, we'll cover first party data, Google audiences, remarketing list and audience layering. So this is video 2. Let's get started. All right, what is audience targeting? Audience targeting, you can think of it like a supermarket loyalty card. The store knows what you buy and when you shop, what you might want next. So DV360 does the same thing but for showing ads online. So it targets who, what and why. So who would cover real people browsing the internet, and what would cover their interest, searches and past purchases, and why. In why we would cover, so your ad reaches people likely to get converted. Let's talk about four type of audiences in DV360. The four type of audiences are first party data, which is your own customer data, Google audiences, which is built by Google's data, custom audiences, which is intent and affinity that you build, and the fourth one would be third party data that you purchase from the audience data providers. We'll cover each of these in detail now. So the first party data is your own audience list. It contains website visitors, which you record using floodlight tags. It contains customer email list, that is your CRM data or the email list data. Then it contains app users. If you're running an application, then people who have already visited your application or downloaded your application, you can. And then if you are talking about e-commerce, people who have already bought from you before, or if you are like selling a service, people have already purchased one of the services, then you can target list of those particular people as well. So where you can find this in DV360, I have attached the screenshots how it looks in DV360 as well for your ease of understanding, because many people who already use DV360 often message me on LinkedIn asking, can you show it on the UI itself? So I have taken some screenshots and this is in DV360 audience section. How it appears is like this. You see the audience name, the size of the audiences and the status. Okay, the audience name for example is website visitors last 30 days. Then there is cart abandoners, and then there is CRM existing customers. This is first party data's screenshot. And then this 45,000, 12,300 and 28,500 is the size of audiences. How many members are there in each audience list. And the status, green means active, yellow means in review, and red means it is paused or not active. So first party audiences perform best because it's your own data. You already know these people. The second type of audiences is Google audiences. It is powered by Google's data entirely. It contains affinity audiences, people with long-term interest. For example, foodies, travel buffs, or health and fitness enthusiasts. So if you're already into fitness and health, most likely you will be targeted such products or services. In-market audiences means people who are actively researching or ready to buy a particular product. So let's say you're searching for a SUV car, you would be put in a in-market list for a SUV. Okay. Then comes life events, like major life moments like moving from one city to another, graduating, getting married. So you are put into a life event audiences once such life events happen in your life. Because let's say you are just graduated, now Google audiences or algorithm will move you into just graduated list, and people who are trying to sell their college course or online courses or graduation course, they would be targeting you because you have just graduated, right? So we can, like advertisers can target on basis of life events as well. Then comes demographic. One can target on basis of age, gender, parental status, household income. We have discussed this in much in detail in the basic series as well. But I'll skip this. If you want a detailed analysis of how demographic audience targeting works, you can watch that video. I'll add it in the card above. So for example, you can target age 25 to 34, and you can target the gender if the ad or product is just meant for females. So you can find these audiences by going in DV360, then clicking on audiences, then clicking on browse, and then Google audiences. The third type of audience list is a custom audience list. It is built by you. So the first custom audience list is custom affinity audiences list. It is built audiences based on interests that we define to DV360. We can create it by entering keywords and interest. We can add it by URLs or relevant websites. DV360 builds the audiences. So we can input like certain URLs like ofIndia.com, then they should be put in this particular list. Or if people search for SUVs online, trucks online, or a particular hatchback car online, then they should be put in this particular custom affinity audience list, and we can target them separately. Comes custom intent list. Custom intent list means reach people who are actively searching for your product or service. For example, we can add the keywords buy running shoes online. So whoever searches for buy running shoes online are put into the custom intent list, or best smartwatch 2024. So we can create these audience lists by going into DV360, then audiences, new audiences, and then custom section. Then comes key tactic or remarketing list. We can re-engage with people who we know, right? When a user visits your website, the floodlight tag fires and records that particular user. That particular user is added to your audience list in DV360. Then they see your ads while browsing the internet. So remarketing lists are of three types majorly. It is URL based, people who have visited specific pages like checkout page. So we put them in a particular remarketing list that these people reach till the stage of checkout. Then event based, people who have completed an action. Let's say you're trying to buy a car, you're just researching for it, so you fill up a sign up form. Then we put it in an event based list, and that particular car company will retarget their ads to you after knowing your information. And then comes the combined list, which means mix of multiple conditions, mix of people who visited your website and who also filled up the form. We can put up the conditions on our own way, whichever way we want. Remarketing converts 70% better on average than cold targeting. This is a screenshot of DV360's UI. That's how DV360 UI looks. The first option is campaigns, then insertion orders, then line items, and then comes audiences. So you have to click on audiences. We are at the campaign level right now. You can also find it at advertiser level. So by going into advertiser level, on the left navigation section, you will see audiences on the fourth part. Then you click on audiences, you will see all this data there. So it contains all list, then the first party list, Google, custom third party, whichever audience you are looking for, you can click on that particular list. For example, I have clicked on the first party while taking the screenshot. Now it shows the audience name of homepage visitors, checkout abandoners, auto enthusiasts. These are all the list, audience list, which are covered in the first party section. And see, you can see this, the type is first party, and then these are Google audiences and then custom audiences. This is the number of members which are in the audience list, and this is the status of the audience list, let's say active or ready to go or paused. So how you apply these audiences to a line item? So you open your line item, go to campaign, insertion order, and then line item. Then you go to targeting tab, click on the targeting section inside the line item. You click on audiences and demographics. This is where all audiences targeting lives. Then you add your audiences, search and select, choose targeting or observation mode. Now while targeting, there are two major modes which are used in audience list targeting. One is targeting mode in which you directly target these particular audience list or restrict, right? You can target, I want to target these audience lists or I want to exclude these audience lists. In observation mode, you show ads broadly but track performance for these audiences, right? So you should start with observation to learn and then switch to targeting mode. We'll cover this in detail in a separate video, what is targeting mode and observation mode. But for now, you can learn that you should start with observation mode and then later on switch to targeting mode. The next one would be strategy or audience layering, how you stack your signals, because we can do multiple stacking and then we can choose or not type of content narrowing on basis of how our marketing funnel is stacked up or how we want to target these audience list. So the first is like a funnel, the more layers you add, the more specific and valuable your audience gets. For example, somebody is in market for cars. Okay, this is a Google audience. It's a very broad list of Google audience members in which people who are in market, who are searching to buy a car. Then you can stack it up by saying, okay, this is what the audience list I want. And then you can add certain targetings like only age 25 to 44. So you add a demographic layer. I want to target people who are in this broader list of Google audiences who are ready to buy a car, but they should be of age 25 to 44. The next layer would be people who visited my website who are of this age of 25 to 44 and belong to the Google audience list who are ready to buy a car. So this makes a high intent buyer list. After that, you can also use and or not. How these and or not work are, like you can target in market for car and age 25 to 44. So this becomes one particular targeting. Then you add a or option here. Either people who are in market for cars and of age 25 to 44, or I can target people who visited my website. So this is like and or targeting. Not means you can target not. Let's say we add not option in the age. Okay, so I'm targeting in market for cars, and this should also, like, the people who are in market for cars should have also visited my website, but should not be of age 25 to 44. So that's what and or not means. And means narrower audiences, or means broader audiences, and not means exclude those audiences. How audience strategy best practices are. Okay, we should always start with the first party audience targeting, because that's our own data, it converts better. Use CRM list and floodlight based audience first. Use observation before targeting. Get audience insights without restricting delivery. We can observe what those audience lists are, how they are performing, and then we can particularly target them. Because if we do targeting directly, then we won't get the performance data of, and we might restrict down because we have only selected that particular audience list. Whereas in observation mode, lookalike audiences and certain audiences which belong to that particular category are also shown your ads, right? So we can optimize. Once we see the data, we should use the observation method before doing the targeting. We can do layer audiences strategically. There is an onion sign because there is layer by layer, just like an onion. We can combine Google plus first party audiences to get a high intent list of a specific segment. We can refresh our list regularly. It's a very important point to consider. Keep on refreshing your list because audiences get stale. Sometimes we should update membership windows like 30 days, 90 days, or 180 days to stay relevant. People who have already shown these ads for 30 days, we should remove them from the list. You can select all that in the DV360 UI itself. We can exclude converters. Do not waste your budget on people who have already bought. Exclude them from your customer list, because we'll be wasting our money if somebody has already bought a SUV car from us, and now we are again showing them the ad for a SUV car. So we should remove them once they have already become our customers. Then we should run A/B test. We should do a test and compare, because A/B test audience segments in different line items, and we can compare CPA or cost per acquisition and what is return on our ad spend. So what we covered today was audience targeting and why it matters. The 4 type of major audiences in DV360. What is first party data and remarketing list? What is Google and custom audiences? How to apply these audiences in DV360 UI? And then we also talked about audience layering strategy. Next video would be about reporting in DV360. If this video helped you out in any way, please do not hesitate to subscribe and like this video. Share it with somebody who is trying to crack a programmatic interview or who is already in the industry. If you are wanting to move into digital marketing, this video makes sense for you. So this is Programmatic Advertising Intermediate Series. This was video 2. Thank you so much for watching it till the end. Bye-bye.